Welcome back, traders, to our final installment on Nasdaq 100 weekly highs, weekly lows, technical analysis video. I hope all of your trades today have gone really well, and obviously if it hasn't, then let's look at how we can make things better moving forward. So this would be to cover week commencing Monday the 28th of October. We're going to be doing another video on NAS on Sunday as well, Sunday the 27th of October. So make sure you stay active so you can see that video, right? So we're going to go over all of that and make sure that moving forward, we're always in the best position to make the most out of our trades and setups as it appears. All right. Okay. So with that covered, let's get straight into it. So the last video that I did in regards to NAS, this was done on a Wednesday. So Wednesday was when I did a video, and during the Wednesday, couple situations have presented itself, because remember, in this situation over here, I had a sell bias towards the Nas100 based on what it is that I was looking at. Okay, so overall, so if you go to the macro, right, so yeah, so if you go to the macro, as you can see over here, we can see that price is making its way up to this zone up here. Okay, now this is the zone that I've been talking about for a little while, but however, this is where price wants to get to. I also believe that because of the election that's going to be taking place in a couple of weeks time, that there's a high probability that price is going to make his way up there. At the bare minimum, during the week of the election, we should see price up here, in my opinion. Right now, once again, I'm not a financial advisor, I'm not giving you financial advice. Okay, so we always got to make sure that we do our due diligence and that everything makes sense before we jump in heads first, right? We don't want to do that. We want to make sure that all due diligence has been done, everything makes sense before we jump in, because the golden rule of the market is market does whatever market wants to do, and sometimes that may not be in line with what you're hearing. So hence why due diligence is super important. So if we go into the macro view, so this is the macro view of the NAS, right? Now we're seeing this in an hourly format. You could get this in a day as well, but the hourly format, I think you get more of a better view as to how everything is moving. So as we can see, price is currently in a channel within a channel, right? So this is the larger ascending channel, and this is a smaller ascending channel, and then we had the one that it was in previously, which was a smaller descending channel. Okay, so we're currently in this phase right now. Now this phase has a high probability of breaking downwards. Now just because something has a high probability of doing something, it doesn't mean that it's always going to do it. Okay, bear it in mind that it's getting very, very close to this level over here. So this is a resistance level that was set a while back, and that level in question is this number right here, 20737.3. so this is a zone that we're highlighting, not a specific point, or to say that this zone, if we get a close above that, that's going to be an interesting way of looking at what's taking place, and we can just safely assume that price is closed above it, and chances are it's going to be heading in one direction, which is up, right? Anywhere in the zone, we could just say it's come directly up to it. Okay, and anything below basically just supports the idea that it has been rejected and there is a probability that it's going to come down, right? So this is how I've drawn this whole situation over here, and as you can see, as we head up to the current event, we can see right here that price is looking like it wants to get to that zone. So although it's pulled back, right, it's inching ever closer to this area right now. All right, so that's something that we want to bear in mind. The second thing that I actually talked about as well on that Wednesday video was that I believed at the time, based on what I was looking at, right, that due to this bearish FVGs over here, so the bearish FVGs in this area over here, that price was going to tap into one of these FVGs and then return back down again. But I also recommended countermeasures to make sure that you didn't find yourself in a situation that you did not want to be in, right? So I turned around and said, you want to put your sales under the FVGs as a pending order with your stop up here. Okay, right? Now, if you followed my instructions, right? Okay, and bearing in mind, I'm not a financial advisor. I'm always expecting the guys consuming my content to do research and not to follow what I'm saying blindly, because I don't do that myself, and I don't want you to do that. I want you to check my work, as well as in process of you checking my work, you're doing your work, right? So I always recommend that. So what happened was price didn't actually come into these zones at all, right? So if you had your pending orders there, your pending orders are still sitting there and they have not been triggered. So I would rather you didn't get in and lose money than you got in then lost money. I wouldn't want that for you, right? So I'm glad that didn't happen, okay? Now, on the flip side, so as I was making the video on a Wednesday, right, we could see that price was pushing up, because I was doing it in the evening. Could see price was pushing up, and then naturally, by the time the video was uploaded and everything was up, these two bullish FVGs had been created. So let me get rid of these levels for now, okay, because we don't need them anymore. It has been violated, right? And let's adjust these FVGs a bit. It's going to adjust it over here, and we're going to move it over. So this is now the bullish FVGs that we got, that was set on the Wednesday evening, okay, that we could have used on the Thursday, right? So what happened here was, with the bullish FVGs, price came into it, all right? So this is something that you would have had to spot off your own back, because we did not do any content on the Nas on the Thursday, right? So all the content that we did on the Nas was on Wednesday, and we're doing 1-2 day. So you would have had an opportunity over here to jump in if you was paying attention, okay? Because clearly the bearish FVGs had been violated, right? And the bullish FVGs had been respected. So that would have given you an opportunity to jump in and ride it to the upside. And if you had seen that opportunity and you was able to capitalize on it, well done to you. Well done. All right. So moving forward now, we also had an okie doke, right? This is the worst type of trades, or the worst type of market movements that appear. I don't like them at all. I really don't. And this is when you have price comes in, takes out the weekly low with velocity, right? So naturally, if you see it again, you think, okay, yeah, it's going down, and then you tap into it, and then it goes against you, right? Then it blasts all the way up and takes out the previous week's high. So it knocked out this one over here, this weekly low, and then it also knocked out this weekly high as well. All right, and this is for these weeks over here. So these weeks, right? So the previous week, previous to this one, or I should say week commencing the 14th of October. So price gave us an okie doke. And this is something that I tell you guys to be mindful of as well, because it happens all the time. And these ones are incredibly difficult to spot. And sometimes by the time you spotted it, if you entered into the market, it's too late. You're committed and you are going to take a loss. It's very unfortunate, but this is the life that we have chosen for ourselves. So this is some of the risks that we must be happy to accept when market does this to us. It's not fun, but it is what it is. There's nothing any of us can do about it, right? So right now, as it stands, we're going to push this back because we don't need this anymore. You can already see what's taking place. That was violated down there, violated over here. So let's push this back, hold it in this week. And I had a weekly high that I called. So I called this one early based on what I was looking at, right? I said, okay, so it looks like that's the weekly high, hence why we got the logo, hence why you put the label up there. But it turns out not to be the case. This here is in fact the new weekly high. Because it's Friday, in 2 minutes market will be closing, so this is pretty much set in stone as fact. That is the weekly high, and this level over here is the weekly low. Okay, so as for what we're going to need to do for next week, Monday the 28th, we're going to be talking about that on the Sunday video, so we're not really going to go over that right now. Okay, but I just want to highlight that and just make sure that that's already in play for us for when we start discussing things in a few days time. So let's bring that over. So these are the levels of interest, okay? So let us pick up on what we could have done today had we been super aware of what was going on. Some of you guys would have seen it, right? So me right now, I'm in gold, so I wasn't watching this at all. Okay, so I wasn't watching it at all. But however, some of you definitely would have been watching it, and if you were watching it, I hope you saw this move over here, and I hope you got all of that, okay, if you were watching it. Now, if you weren't watching it, you were doing something else, fine. It is a good idea to come over here to hear what it is that I'm talking in regards to the situation, because there might be something there for you to learn from, okay? You might hear some gems, one or two, that could actually assist you in your journey in regards to NAS. So, going off what I said earlier, okay, so you had an opportunity here to jump in, and I hope you saw that opportunity, and I hope you was able to jump in, right? So as it stands, with this current move that we got to the upside right now, okay, bearing in mind that it has come in and taken out this level as well, okay, we now need to keep an eye on any areas of interest that could help us moving forward. So as it stands right now, we have another FVG that has been produced, a bullish FVG that has been produced, that price is in right now as market is closing, right? So market is definitely closed now. It's 2200 hours, so that's it for this week. So this is the level in question right here, okay? So on Monday or Sunday night at 11 p.m. GMT, I want to know if price is going to be moving away from this FVG. And if it is, and if it does begin to move away from this FVG, right? So this will be taking place in the early hours of the morning. I would want to know at what point does it take out this weekly high over here. And when it does take out this weekly high, I also want to see if it's created any FVGs on its way up. Okay, because that's going to fill me with a certain degree of confidence to say that, okay, there's a very high probability that price is going into this zone. All right, so these are the things that we're going to cover in greater detail on the Sunday video. Okay, so make sure you stay tuned for that when that comes out. And as it stands, if you're absolutely brand new to all of this, right about now, you should be seeing two thumbnails. One of them is going to be on back testing, and the other is going to be on the previous video on the NAS that may be of interest to you. So make sure you go check them out, and I will see you all on the next one.